Hi, my name's Jody Frank, and I would like to introduce you to the data around Culineer's value proposition and some of the research that we've conducted, so you can be as excited about what we're working on as we are. I'm going to leave this not in I'm going to leave this in this window so that I don't block part of the screens. Unfortunately, it's I can't move this. Okay, so we surveyed customers at four farmers markets, and they were very different. One was a small farmers market that ran once a month at a church and had maybe 10 vendors. We have one that we use. We went to the farm show complex. They have an open air market with about 30 to 40 vendors. It's been there for 50 years. So we were there. We went to Hershey. There's a one that's sponsored by the Med Center, so that we went there. And and then also in Carlisle in the Farmers on the Square, and also Camp Hill. But the survey was run at these markets. I didn't run the survey at the Camp Hill market; it's brand new. But we did talk to a lot of people, and survey people at these markets to understand how they buy and what they buy and when and why, so that we could fill the gap. Part of this is on the heels of understanding that there's a gap, that farmers and farmers market managers really don't have the time or probably the skills, because you're not marketing people, you're not professional marketing people. Some may be, but mostly aren't. So we wanted to find out how we could bridge this gap between this lack of knowledge in the marketplace with consumers and what you do every day, trying to get healthy, fresh foods to people that you grow as a staple in their diet. Okay, so I'm going to move on here. I have 36 years in marketing and sales related activities. I'm the CEO and founder of Culineer. Prior to that, I was with 3M as a regional manager in the safety industry, so in environmental health and safety. I worked at Harrisburg Community College for 10 years as an adjunct at first in marketing and management, and then I was the chair of the department. Within 10 years, I took over that time, I became chair. I did a lot of small business consulting during this time as well. Um, I'm in the Keystone Safety Supply was my first startup. I was a distributor of safety equipment, and I've had a lot of, like I said, extensive small business consulting work. And I've started my career with Mead Johnson Nutritional, so I do understand nutrition and all of these things. Honestly, in have made prepared me for what I believe is my life's mission, is to help bridge this gap in an industry where this is being overlooked. I live in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'm from Pittsburgh. I went to Pitt. I love the Steelers, and I went to Penn State for my MBA. And so I got a good background to help put together something like this. So Culinear is a two-sided platform that serves the farm to home table industry. And like I said earlier, when I first started this recording, I did a lot of research. The way this came about is we were creating a recipe app for connecting people to local food and their family's heritage and things like that. And we launched, and then shortly after that, COVID hit, and it kind of put us in a bad way in terms of being able to launch a new product. And my data scientists are also biologists, and they're very much engaged with local agriculture, buying from farms, buying from CSAs and markets. And they identified this issue when they could hear people walking out, picking up their CSA share. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. So we thought that this might be something that Culineer could be repurposed for, and that's what we did. We ended up pivoting, but we did a lot of research first. We did a lot deep literature dive. We wanted to understand how big the market was. We wanted to understand if there was a perceived need by market managers and farmers. And once we knew that there was an opportunity to solve a problem for the industry, we then wanted to make sure that the consumer side, because this is two-sided, the consumer side was interested as well. So we set up a tent. I set up a tent at these markets like a vendor, told them we were gathering data so that we could do better next year, and asked 10 questions delivered on a mobile device with a free version of SurveyMonkey. And here are the questions I asked I'm going to run through these. Which of the following do you shop routinely? Now, this is going to be skewed, obviously, because I'm at a farmer's market. So, of course, most people are going to say farmer's markets, which is surprising. It wasn't 100%. But farmers markets, grocery stores, of course, we would expect that. Warehouse stores like Costco and Sam's. Online grocery was only 5%, which surprised me. Online farm stores was only 1%, which surprised me. Direct from farm, this would be like a farm stand or a CSA, that was 15%. And then meal kits. And this was a couple of years ago when meal kits were kind of, really trying to make a mark in the industry of how people purchase food. And then we ask about the frequency, and you could see that 8% said they did it. This is how often do you buy at a market? 8% said they did it a couple times a week. 27% said they went every week. So now we've got, 33% of your loyal customers. And this is important, and I'll share why. A couple times a month is another 35%. So you've got 70% of your market either very loyal or somewhat loyal. Then we have a couple times a season. These would be your casual ones. Maybe they come for the entertainment of it, being at the market, looking at the great food, buying a few things, or maybe they like to come and buy specific things. Like I've seen people come just to buy Hungarian peppers or just to buy corn. And then there was a small group that was just less than 5%. This was a first visit. Okay, so the buying behaviors, one of the questions I wanted to know is how do you decide what to buy? Because of what I've observed at the markets is that people come with various levels of intent, meaning they know what they want to do, they know what their purpose is, and there's various levels of volume that they buy. But more importantly, I think so the buying behaviors, how do you decide what to buy? And so anyhow, I'll get into this. I don't want to jump ahead. So some people, and a lot of markets have this, where you have a food truck or you have prepared food that people come and they enjoy for lunch or dinner or whatever. So 2.5%, a little less than 2.5% said that they come to get something that's ready to eat. Or they may buy, bread or cookies or cupcakes or something like that. 36% said that they kind of know what they want, but they just kind of look around. And 4.5%, almost 5% said they have a list and they rarely buy more. And then 54%, almost 55% said they sort of browse for items. So this is a gap that sounds like this is a great opportunity, because what we also learned about this is that when people don't know, well, I'm jumping ahead, but when people don't know, they don't come with a plan, they don't buy as much. So the average, Matt LaRue at Cornell, at the extension officer, did some research on this, and the average purchase at a farmer's market for a customer is about $50, where the average grocery store spend is about $200. So here, by understanding the buying behavior and what drives that behavior, we can shift some of it. Hopefully, this is my goal. This is the thesis. Shift some of that to more products being purchased directly from the farm, whether it be a farmer's market or through your online sales channel, or whether it be, at your farm stand. But we're working with markets first because they are very ready to take on Culineer and to start to implement it. But we can affect all those different channels. The other part of this question, this is 2 questions, so I put them on one slide. How do you decide what to cook? So 23.5%, almost 24% said they plan ahead and then they buy. 22% they wing it. This will be your adventurous cook that, is capable of doing that. That seems about right. Not everybody can do that though. 4 said they hardly cook, and that would go with the ready to eat probably crowd. Some always make the same thing, and then some will find ingredients and then figure it out later. And here we have an opportunity to improve the user experience, the consumer experience, because a lot of these people will probably be the same ones. And I didn't ask this question, but we can extrapolate. These are probably the same ones that go home, buy the items, don't know what to do with it, sits in the fridge, it goes bad, they throw it away, and then it gets disgruntled. And so later in the season, you don't see them coming back. So how willing are you to try new ingredients? This was really important because I know the way the commercial food um, industry has evolved, has not only introduced chemicals into our food and um, bad growing practices that are causing some environmental pressures, um, and all kinds of things, right? And making us food insecure in some ways because big companies are controlling the food. They don't want to put a store in an underserved area, a small rural town, or an inner city, suburban or inner city area where people don't make a lot of money. So that this all comes, all those issues we won't get into, but um, one of the other things that Michael Pollan has always shown is that we were losing the variety of food. People aren't eating as many a variety, and you wonder, are they willing? Because a lot of people, when you say eat fresh vegetables, they'll say corn, broccoli, green beans, tomatoes, lettuce, and that's all. But we know there's so much more, and they would like, the people that come to the market would like opportunities to try new ingredients, and another big chunk of them. So that's like 43%. Another chunk is, willing but cautious. And then there's a lower percentage that are, really set. They're not going to try much new stuff. So then I said, we're trying to like drill down here. How helpful would it be to get recipes for market ingredients? 31 said it would be helpful, extremely helpful. 46 said it would be very helpful. 20 said it would be somewhat helpful. Only 2% said that it wouldn't be helpful. And this, if you think about all the food marketing people, all the food marketing brands out there, the grocery stores, you open a magazine, a cooking magazine, and there are as many recipes promoting a brand as there are articles about food or cooking. And so you go to the grocery store and they have, recipe cards everywhere. So recipe cards on the back of the box. So this is like a no-brainer in my mind. But this validates that they would like to have something. When do they want to have it? This is when we started to realize the timing and how we might be able to affect the purchasing behavior. I would buy more, 75%, if they would have those suggested recipes. That's pretty powerful. And then when would be the ideal time to get them? Before they come to market, 60%. While at market would be another opportunity. And so this gives us a chance to work with our customers and help them, guide them to buy more stuff from you and shift those dollars from packaged groceries to fresh local. The key takeaways here are that farmers market customers are really interested in trying new ingredients. They look for inspiration and they're willing to buy more. And other research has shown, this wasn't part of my research, but other research has shown that the people are, in general, even in this economy, are willing to spend up to 10% more, 10% more to buy fresh local ingredients. So it doesn't have to be a price point issue. You want to stay competitive, obviously. People aren't going to spend an excessive amount more, but you don't have to be cutting your prices to make a sale. What you can do is provide value and make it easy for them to purchase. And we have an opportunity with what we're Culineer's offering to stay top of mind, to increase shopping frequency, inspire cooking with new ingredients, increase their purchase volume and their profits, and increase vendor retention. Now, here's the really cool thing too. As a marketer, any industry, you will know that it takes 5 times more effort and money to get a new customer than it does to sell to one that already buys from you. And more importantly, or as importantly, they will spend about 30% more with you. So as you shift the dollars and you increase the share of wallet for that customer, how much of their wallet they spend with you versus elsewhere, you're going to see your profits increase because your cost, your efforts are going to go down and your volume is going to go up. And this is a very important financial implication. I'm sorry. Okay, so great marketing results are achieved through experimentation. So this is not what we're offering with Culineer is not a silver bullet, but I'm geared up to work with the first cohort of customers in the state of Pennsylvania and the surrounding areas to to make sure that we are building something that provides high value for all stakeholders. That means the growers, the markets, and the customers. And when I say growers, I'm primarily focused on food, but I know that markets have other things like we have, wool and wool products. We've got soaps, we've got tinctures and things like that. We've got wine and beer and things like that. So we want the whole ecosystem to be stronger. Your competitors have very, very sophisticated marketing engines, and they do a lot of customer research, and they have a lot of money to spend on it. So it's extremely important to measure these things and make informed decisions, and don't waste your time on things that don't produce results. And talk to your customers. So if you join Culineer or when you join Culineer, you'll see that I'm going to be putting up marketing blogs and I will teach you about this stuff, knowing your persona and talking to your customers, asking information so that you can do a better job serving them with less effort. So talk to your customers, ask open-ended questions, and they will tell you what they need and want. And you have an advantage because you are local and there is a movement of toward buying local food with especially the younger generation. So with that, I'm going to stop this and then I'm going to do a demo for Culineer so you can see how we are helping to bridge this gap with a software technology. Thank you.